Hi, I'm David Huboi, and you're watching Going Green TV. This program is sponsored by the San Benito County Chamber of Commerce. And our message is economic vitality along with environmental sustainability for future generations. Today we have a distinguished panel of guests, and we're going to feature Jim Ostdick's Walk Across America. In our second segment, we'll have Mary Gilbert come on, and we'll talk about the proposed 1/2 cent transportation tax known as Measure P. Well, welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on. And Valerie's been on before, and let's just go down the line here and introduce ourselves for the viewers. So, Valerie, you want to start?
I'm Valerie Egland, and I am associated with bicycle pedestrian issues.
My name is Brian Lucas. I own the local bike store in Hollister.
That was off the
chain bikes.
Off the chain bikes.
Yes.
Very nice store.
One of the best.
And of course, our water guru, right? Shawn Novack.
Right. Water Resources Association of San Benito County.
Yeah, good. Okay. Well, you may have read in the news and seen on television news reports that Jim Ostdick, who is with the REACH Foundation, which is a 501c, and stands for Recreation, Education, and Community Health. Am I right, Valerie?
No, it's recreation, exercise.
Recreation, exercise.
And community health.
Close.
Not bad. That's close. Okay.
That's close,
Okay.
good.
And he started, I think it was February 21st, or very close to that, in Delaware, or in Cape Palomino State Park, Delaware, on a 4,000-mile trek across the United States.
Right.
And the purpose of that journey is to?
We're trying to build the endowment funds for REACH San Benito Foundation, which is basically our Parks Foundation for San Benito County.
Okay. And that money and the endowment fund would help maintain the parks and also support some of the projects that we have going. One of them is the 52-acre regional, known as a regional park.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And it's also, it has multimodal trails for bikes and equestrian trails and walking trails that stretch from, I think it goes from Answar High School to Blotto Park. So it would be, and it would be able
in
to
our
be
dreams.
In our dreams.
That's our
able
end,
to be
end goal.
accessed from downtown Hollister. Right, and I think that would probably be of special interest to you, Brian. Am I correct?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
With
if it's
bicycles.
Anytime you could commute on a bicycle, that's always a good thing. Yeah, along with that is like it's always been the safe, a little wider shoulders, clean roads. You know, the goat heads and debris and stuff that always damage tires. So yeah, I mean, perfect world, you could have those all over the place.
Right, in a perfect world, right. Well, I think it starts with a vision and a purpose. I think that's what Jim has, and I would say that probably keeps him going on this journey is to have a purpose of awareness for the importance of parks and recreation.
Exactly.
And maybe it's time now. Maybe you can get him on the
let's
phone.
try.
Could you try
Let's
to
try.
get him on the phone while we're talking here?
The grand experiment.
Yeah. You know, while you're trying to reach him here on your phone, Jim has a background on long trips, such as the Pacific Coast Trail, which is a 2,663-mile trek from the U.S.-Mexico border to the Oregon-Washington border. He did that in 2009. He was on a cross-country bike hike in 2013, and it was chronicled in his travel memoir, Palomino and the Dream Machine. So he's got a background. I think he was teaching as a teacher.
Yes, Jim. Are you there? Yes. We found you. That's exciting. Okay, I'm going to put you on speakerphone.
You must have got back in
Okay,
the
I'm going to
range.
put you on speakerphone. Hold on.
That's great.
Okay.
Good timing.
Yeah.
Just put him by the.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim. This is David Huboi on the Going Green Show.
Hello, David. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I'm resting today, so I'm
So it's like
kind of storing up some energy to cross the Ohio River tomorrow and head into the Buckeye State.
Wow. Wow. I have here with me is my co-host, Shawn Novack, and you know Valerie Egland, and also I have Brian Lucas from Off the Chain Bikes. So,
All right.
yeah, we were talking about the purpose of your journey is to raise awareness on the importance for recreation opportunities for all ages, and through REACH, which is also, you know, Valerie is a member of REACH, and you're trying to raise funds for parks and recreation programs in San Benito County. Excuse me.
That's right.
Yeah. On your journey here, sometimes I would imagine that the journey might get a little rough going. Is the purpose of your mission, I guess, would be important to keep you going through the rough times. Am I correct to say that?
Well, sure. You know, we didn't do this just all of a sudden. You know, we planned this out for several months, and I think we're all on the same page that, you know, we want to make a connection, not a physical connection like, you know, linking trails to our county, but a philosophical connection, you know, between our county and the rest of the nation. And wherever you know, I did a bicycle trip around the country, and wherever I went, wherever there was a community that had a body of water, or a river, or a lake, or was next to the ocean or something, they all had these, you know, these trails, these recreation trails that brought people together to enjoy nature and to learn from each other. And so, you know, I picked up a lot of good information on from that experience, and I'd like to see San Benito County, you know, follow through on their plans to build the River Parkway and a regional park, to have that same kind of feeling, that same connection, that same sense of community that seems to be pervasive all around the country.
Great, great. Are there any interesting anecdotes or stories you'd like to share with us that you've experienced so far on your journey?
Well, you know, you could. I encourage everyone to read my blog on the reachacrossamerica.org website, where you can get lots of stories. I would just say that, you know, I'm seeing the same thing. You know, I'm seeing happy people out enjoying themselves with their families or on their own, either walking or riding their bikes or sometimes on horseback, or, you know, you know, I get a good feeling from those people. They're without fail kind and happy and relaxed and enjoying themselves, and they're interested in what we're trying to do. I will say that the C&O Canal towpath, which is a, you know, historical trail along the Potomac River, was a real eye opener. It's 190 miles long, and I think it goes from Georgetown, Washington D.C., all the way to Cumberland in Maryland, and that experience of walking that was just was the most amazing thing, because every day, you know, people take great pride in living around it, you know, living close to it, and so every day I got a chance to meet some folks who are, you know, totally behind what we're doing.
Oh, that's great, great. I really appreciate that. I just want you to know that after we talk, I'm going to show on a graphic how the viewers can reach your website, reachacrossamerica.org, and read about your journey and the blogs, and also learn how to donate to your endeavor.
Yeah, I've actually, you know, I don't ever ask anyone to donate when I meet them on these trails. but several people have stepped up and asked me how they could do that, how they could help us, which I thought was exceptional. That somebody on the other side of the country would want to thought enough of what we were doing to contribute a penny a mile or something like that, to support. And I've been. I always like to tell people that when you get out and you travel a little bit, especially on your own here, like on foot or on a bicycle or something like that, you see a different part of the country that you wouldn't otherwise see, and you see people in a different way, and people are 99% of the people that you meet are friendly and kind and helpful, and it just makes you feel good about living in this place. It's good. People are good.
Am I correct to say is that when you're out there in nature, that nature has a kind of a grounding influence on people, so that they can just kind of relax and be natural and have communion? Is that nature has that effect?
Well said, David. Yeah, you said it better than I did, and I think it's important, and I think that most people know that and understand it, and maybe they think that they don't have the time to take advantage of it or incorporate it in their lives or something like that. But the benefits are great, especially I think for young people. When I was teaching at San Benito County, at the high school, at San Benito High School, by the way, hello to Carmen.
She's going to UC Davis now.
Carmen, your daughter was in my class several years ago.
Yes, she speaks highly of you. Thank you, Jim.
Some of the kids who were maybe not as involved for one reason or another, not able to participate in sports or some extracurricular activities, they would complain. There's nothing to do. I can't wait till I get out of here, or stuff like that. And that's basically because they hadn't been exposed to the real world that surrounded them. They didn't appreciate the beauty of San Benito County. And we got to get those kids out there. We got to do this thing for them, and for their kids to get them out of the house and into nature and seeing what a beautiful place we live in, and try to make that happen as soon as possible.
Yeah, I also I share that view. I see the importance of parks as a refuge, and it beckons the Wilderness Letters by Wallace Stegner, who claims that the importance of parks is not only for recreation but for mental health, and for kids to get out from the computer and the computer games and get out there in the tangible world where nature is, I think, is so important. And I really want to say how much I appreciate what you're doing, not only to bring to us your journey and your travels and your experience, but to remind us how important parks and recreation is to the community and to our lives in general. So
exactly.
I wish I could talk to you the rest of the show here, Jim, but we're going to have to sign off, and just keep us posted, and best of luck to you on your travels.
Okay. Get out there and get those pledges going. Let's get this happening.
Let's do it. Okay. All right. Thanks, Jim. And best, again, Godspeed.
Okay. Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Bye, Ryan. Bye, Valerie.
Bye,
Bye, Jim.
Get to meet you someday.
All right, Jim.
Bye-bye, Jim.
Bye.
Okay, so there we have
That was awesome.
on a live call-in from Mr. Jim Ostdick, and he's well on the way here to on his journey, and gosh, it's great to hear from him. So
he's so right, though. You know, I lived in Monterey for 6 years before coming over here, and that great rec trail they have over there. I was down there at least twice a week, and I would see neighbors and people I work with, and that sense of community is just—it's wonderful. So I hope reality.
Sometimes it's not paved road either, just a path, dirt path. They don't work also. It's a lot less expensive also in the southern areas. That's all we needed.
Yeah.
So just connecting one end to another.
Yeah, I thought I had a couple of quotes here on hiking and one on the importance of parks. If guys mind if I just share with the viewers. This is by Ralph Waldo Emerson about nature says that thou shalt keep the air, skate, swim, walk, ride, run. When you have worn out your shoes, the strength of the shoe leather has passed into the fiber of your body. I measure your health by the number of shoes and hats and clothes you have worn out. He is the richest man who pays the largest debt to his shoemaker. That's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And I got one by none other than Lyndon Baines Johnson, former President of the United States. It's quite eloquent what he said here, so I'd like to share this with you guys. If future generations are to remember us with gratitude rather than contempt, we must leave them something more than the miracles of technology. We must leave them a glimpse of the world as it was in the beginning, not just after we got through with it. We must not only protect the countryside and save it from destruction, we must restore what has been destroyed and salvage the beauty and charm of our cities. Once our natural splendor is destroyed, it can never be recaptured, and once man can no longer walk with beauty or wonder at nature, his spirit will wither and his sustenance will be wasted. So,
that's profound.
Anything else that you guys want to comment or further discussion on Mr. Ostdick's journey across America?
Well, I'm wondering how he found these manicured paths that are occasionally available, you know, are great. But then he had to go out on the roads too. And what is your experience, Brian, with roadsides? You know, I bicycle a little, but you know, I have not seen the miles that you have. And what is your thinking on what kind of space do people need?
Actually, the riding bicycle takes very little space because you're going straight line. It doesn't have a really wide footpath. For instance, like a rollerblade, you tend to move side to side. It requires wider space. So, as an experienced cyclist, you don't need type 2 bike path. You just need a little bit wider shoulder. Give us like a 3 or 4 feet away from the vehicles. So as long as it's roads are wide open like that, it's feels safe. You do get used to the vehicle next to you. I am not saying you should be afraid of them. I guess I'm sorry. You have to be afraid of them. But if it's but in such a way, if it fears too much, that you're not going to enjoy the ride. So I guess there is a fine line. But the experienced cyclists riding hundreds of miles a week, those guys, they don't need the wide path. But I could see that for family rides or other type of activity, yeah, the type 2 path's going to be awesome.
Okay, and speaking of roads and type 2 paths and all that, we're going to talk in our next segment, we're going to talk about Measure P, which is a 1/2 cent transportation tax.
Wonderful.
So we'll take a little break and we'll tune in later, guys. Okay. Next segment, we'll talk about Measure P. Hey, you're back watching Going Green. And on our set now is Mary Gilbert, who's the CEO of the Council of Governments. Hey, welcome back on the show, Mary.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's great to have you. And I'll let you tell the viewers about this Measure P. What's this Measure P all about?
Sure, yeah, I'm here just to kind of give some education information about this measure that the Council of Governments has on the ballot. This will be going on the June 7th primary election ballot. Measure P is a 1/2 cent sales tax for transportation. The proposal is for a 30-year tax, so it'll be in place for 30 years once it's approved. It's estimated to raise about $240 million over that 30 years. for specific transportation projects.
Does this require a 2/3 vote?
Yes, it does.
It does.
2/3.
Okay. And how is the money, basically, what transportation projects would it be going to?
Right, so there's a specific breakdown that's included, and this was adopted and has to be kind of stuck to. It's an expenditure plan, is what was adopted by the Council of Governments. So the breakdown is 50% going to projects on Highway 25 between Hollister and Gilroy to help relieve some of the congestion there and improve safety and operations of the highway. The 30% will be going to the cities and county for local street and road repairs, so potholes or your general maintenance type of needs. And then there's another 20% set aside that can fund other transportation projects. There's a list in the expenditure plan of some potential projects, but that could be expanded as the years go by, as we go over the 30-year measure. But those would be projects for bicycle safety, for example, and pedestrian safety. I know you were talking about that in your previous segment. Right. And also other road connections or other things that are needed in the community.
Great. Can you talk a little bit about the funding accountability? I understand there'll be an oversight committee, is that correct? To
Yes.
make sure that the funding goes to the right sources.
That's right, yeah. There's a Citizens Oversight Committee that will be meeting regularly to review the expenditures under the measure. And also independent audits would be conducted annually to make sure that the funds are being expended as they're supposed to be.
Right. Speaking of audits, I have to mention that, you know, I kind of look at it from the city's perspective, the city of Hollister being a planning commissioner and working and living in the city of Hollister. They had a independent audit, and presently the city gets approximately $1 million annually from the gas tax. But you know, the gas tax, now that we're changing our driving habits and you know have hybrids and electric cars, and you know that's going down. So that's a dwindling resource revenue. But the audit said, the result of the audit says that we need another $1 to $2 million just to keep our roads maintained. And we're going to need $8 million annually for 5 years to bring the roads up to a good condition.
What else I was shocked in that report, they said our roads were in fairly good shape when that report compared to other communities. So to maintain them to where they're at, we're going to need this money to maintain them because they're at the point of, you know, we need to invest in them.
When the roads get to a certain point, you know, it goes beyond just putting a slurry seal on those roads to keep them maintained. Because when they start to alligator, the water gets underneath into the base rock, and then you have to do a dig out, and that's when it's really gets costly. So I think, you know, with all the rains that we've had and the wear and tear and the potholes, and I mean, it's something that I think needs to be acted on quickly. Would you say that, Shawn?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
also, I'm kind of curious, you know, I get calls a lot because of that big development going up on Fairview up there at Santana Ranch. So how much do the developers contribute to that, you know, getting our roads, like especially Fairview is turning into a freeway, basically.
Right. So the developers, there's a traffic impact fee study that's done. We update it about every 5 years, and we just completed the update back in January at COG, and it's since been adopted by the Board of Supervisors in the city of the city of Hollister will be talking about it at their next meeting. At any rate, roads like Fairview Road, Union Road, a Meridian Street extension, those are all included in the traffic impact fee program, so that new development, as it comes in, pays its share towards making those improvements.
Yeah, well, I want to make that clear because I don't want people to say, well, okay, the long-time residents there are going to pay for the road improvement where the new-time residents aren't contributing. They do with these connection fees and impact fees and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of impact fees, I have to say is that my concern is that as it is now, you know, for one unit impact fee for a residential unit, it's like neighboring $30,000.
Wow.
And when you do multi-unit development, such as what we really need, we need multi-unit development for our city, the housing element, you know, for affordable or workforce housing, that we're, you know, we're not supplying those types of projects because they're not penciling out, because they're trying to make it affordable. So I think the impact fees, in my perspective, they're high enough. So this is why I think that, you know, the transportation tax is warranted, because otherwise it's you know, you're going to have an out of balance housing stock, and your roads are going to continue to deteriorate. And if you want to bring in business, you know, this Highway 25 has to be safe, it has to be maintained. And that's what other businesses are looking at. They're looking at, you know, for a good way to get to our city and start their businesses. So that's from the way I look at it.
I know, that's kind of a government problem, because I guess it needs to be looked at how you're going to structure it to accommodate all that. But that's another for another show.
And I know Valerie here, you know, from our last show, we talked about complete streets. You know, it's not only just maintaining roads, but it's also, you know, making sure that our road structure is well designed for multimodal access, not only for, you know, for like Brian's bicycle business and bicycling in general, but for having safe crosswalks, having you know, good mitigation measures like landscape protection for pedestrians, and you know, this has to be done right. It's very important. It's one of the most important things for a community is transportation.
But it's one of these things is that, you know, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And I guess you have to have some of this development start to collect the money before you can improve the road. So it's like I know a lot of people express their anger because they see the development going in and no improvements. So it is being thought of. I just, you know, I know in your department, and they've thought about it for some time, and it sounds like this plan's in place. So I'm excited about it.
One thing that they look at new developments in and around Hollister is the connectivity, ways in which kids can get to schools, and the way people can walk to markets, bicycle around, in order that all the neighborhoods are interconnected and that we have a living community, not one that's segmented behind walls for each new little development.
Well,
so I think that's
you
important.
and Jim also taught me that you're looking beyond that, how we connect with other counties, which I think that's all new to me. I mean, I've lived in cities where we think about your little local environment, but how does it connect to the outside world? That's so important.
Right.
Yeah, from the city to the county to beyond the county, that we're talking about businesses. Hopefully, the connection from bringing business into the city and the county, how important transportation is, and how important a well-maintained, well-designed transportation system is in general.
That's critical.
Yeah, it's really critical.
All of the counties around us are have transportation taxes on their ballots as well. So we needn't feel like we're the ones who have been leaving everything behind. Monterey and Santa Cruz and Santa Clara County are all looking for added revenues in order to help with roads.
So would this be on the primary ballot or on the November?
The primary ballot in June.
Oh, wow, it's coming up quick.
Right.
Okay.
Are you going to have workshops or something like that for the public? Or
At the waterworks.
Oh, okay.
Waterworks.
Valerie's
I'm like, what?
got something scheduled.
No, I just wondered if there's some kind of way for people to get more information.
Right, and information on the measure and any workshops or anything that would be happening is available on the COG website. It's sanbenitocog.org.
Sanbenitocog.org. Well, Mary, thanks for coming on the show again. It's a pleasure to see you here, and best of luck to you and COG. And
thanks for coming on.
And hope to get you on in the future. And Valerie, thanks to you, and thanks for all the good work that you do with the Reach Foundation and your work. Are you still with the Parks and Recreation?
Yes.
As a commissioner? Wonderful. Well, we appreciate your service and your appearing on the show today. And as usual, my co-host Shawn there.
That's right.
Mr. Waterworks himself.
And let me put in there quick, we just got our announcement today from the Bureau of Reclamation that we are getting a little bit of allocation from the federal system, but it's going to be a long, dry, hot summer again. We're going to have short supplies, so conserve everybody. We got to stretch it out.
Well, let's end it on conservation, and we really appreciate you watching today, and we'll see you next time on Going Green.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.